There are plenty of fights the UFC can put on to garner much attention from the UFC and sports fans worldwide. In this video, we will be breaking down the top 5 fights the UFC can book. The criteria used to base this list is potential pay-per-view buys and how much attention it would garner from casual UFC fans. At number 5, we have Sean O'Malley vs. Henry Cejudo for the Bantamweight Championship. Henry Cejudo has a message to send, and hopefully it's not to my wife. This is obviously assuming Henry defeats Aljamain Sterling to regain the title. We put Henry here, instead of Sterling, because he is a two-weight division champion and a former Olympic gold medal winner. Due to these credentials, and past experiences headlining UFC pay-per-views, he is a greater draw than Sterling. His opponent, Sean O'Malley, is the biggest draw in the bantamweight division. He has amassed popularity with the mainstream crowd because of his style, winning ability, and marketability on social media. The narrative of this fight is if the fast-rising social media sensation has the skill set to defeat one of the all-time best fighters in UFC and combat sports history. At number 4, we have Jon Jones vs. Stipe Miocic. In this fight, we have the greatest fighter of all time regardless of weight class, fighting the greatest heavyweight of all time in an all-time showdown. Stipe is coming off a knockout loss to Francis Ngannou, while Jon Jones is coming off an impressive victory versus Cyril Gane. This fight has two of the absolute greatest fighters to ever step foot in the octagon, which is why this fight is so incredibly exciting for fans to watch. For Jon Jones, with a win he continues to cement his legacy as the greatest ever, and for Stipe, he can be the first man to defeat Jon Jones and move himself further up the greatest of all-time charts. At number 3, we have Conor McGregor vs. Colby Covington. No pun intended, but all chaos would unfold when these two battle on the microphone at the UFC press conference. The two biggest trash talkers in MMA today would have no issues trading verbal jabs with each other. Of course, this fight sells because Colby Covington is one of the best fighters on planet Earth, and Conor McGregor is the biggest draw in combat sports. But the real appeal of this fight would be the back-and-forth build-up between these two loudmouths. At number 2, we have Conor McGregor vs. Islam Makhachev. Conor McGregor is the biggest star in sports, but with Khabib Nurmagomedov retired, Islam Makhachev is the biggest Muslim star, which is why he has millions of followers. While this fight may not be as big as Conor vs. Khabib, if this fight is for the lightweight championship, you can be sure it would likely be the top 3 best-selling pay-per-views in UFC history. With the backstory of Conor vs. Khabib's teammate, you can be sure that would absolutely add fuel to the fire in this rivalry. At number 1, we have Conor McGregor vs. Jorge Masvidal. There is only one fighter currently in the UFC who has amassed over 1 million pay-per-view buys without Conor McGregor or Ronda Rousey being involved, and his name is Jorge Gamebred Masvidal. Jorge Masvidal and Conor McGregor are by far the two biggest stars in the UFC today. While most fighters become irrelevant due to the MMA fans' fickle nature when they lose, these are two guys that will continue to be superstars regardless of how many fights they lose. Millions of fans tune in when either guy fights. When Masvidal fought Usman, they had over 1.3 million pay-per-view buys, which is one of the most ever. If Masvidal fought McGregor, who has the all-time records, this fight would likely sell close to 2 million pay-per-views. Is our list incorrect? Please let us know what you think in the comment sections because we would love to hear it.